What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you. For those of you that are here the first time, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and check out plenty of content that I have out there. Hopefully you enjoy some of the videos. Everybody else, I appreciate you. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to talk about the prison escape that took place in New Orleans. As you know, 4 days ago, 10 prisoners escaped through a hole in the wall from the Orleans Justice System. That's what it's called, the Orleans Justice System, which is run by the Sheriff's Department. It is not a prison escape, it is a jail escape. Where they escaped from is not prison, it is jail. It is not a maximum security jail. Was a holding center where they held people who were facing criminal charges, still waiting to go to trial, and also holding those that were sentenced already and waiting to be sent to prison. And so it was not a maximum security prison they escaped from. As you know, a maintenance worker has been arrested for helping them. As you see, there's a picture of the jail right there. A maintenance worker has been arrested for helping them. He's been held on over $1 million bail, $100,000 for each person he helped escape. He turned off the water so they can rip the toilet out of the cell. He admitted to that. Let me show you a quick clip to get you up to date, and then I'll give you some facts and some of my opinion on what's going to take place. So please check out this up-to-date news clip, because five of the 10 have been arrested. At first, they caught 3 of them within the first 48 hours. Now it's been 4 days. They have 5 of them. And so there's 5 more to go. And everyone's involved in this search. Listen to the news clip, and then I'll fill you in on some stuff here. Check that out.
We do have to switch gears here to a bit of breaking news. This is a story that we've been following since it first broke last Friday. 10 inmates who escaped from a jail in New Orleans. Another one has been captured. I want to put this up on your screen. This is a tweet that we have there from the Louisiana State Police saying that the 5th fugitive arrested. It's an escaped inmate. Law enforcement agencies working collectively to locate the inmates who escaped from the New Orleans Parish Correctional Facility back on May 16th. They've now arrested 19-year-old Corey Boyd, and that's the picture that they had there of that arrest taking place. Also hearing from the Attorney General there in Louisiana saying captured inmate Corey Boyd is now back in custody. He was originally incarcerated on charges of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, and aggravated battery. He will now face additional charges related to that escape. And so we wanted to bring you this update here on Live Now from Fox. If you've been following this story closely, we know that Louisiana State Police have been recapturing those inmates who did escape there from the jail. Again, Corey Boyd there on your screen. He is the 5th to be caught. He was briefly spotted last Friday, hours after the jailbreak happened in the French Quarter on surveillance camera video. Boyd, though, is accused of killing Brandon Fees during a car burglary back in 2024. Boyd, though, has since been taken into custody by a task force that surrounded an apartment building there in the city. His recapture leaves 5 fugitives still on the loose just 4 days after they escaped that New Orleans jail. I want to put this up on your screen. These are some of those other inmates who are still at large at this point. This is what those New Orleans police officers have put out, again, except for Corey Boyd, who's at the bottom there on the left-hand side of your screen. The rest of these 5 are still on the loose. That includes Jermaine Donald, as well as Leo Tate, Linton Van Buren, Antoine Massey, and Derek Groves. So several of those are facing serious charges as well, including for Linton Van Buren's second-degree murder and armed robbery. He is still awaiting trial at this point. Jermaine Donald also arrested on second-degree murder charges. And so we'll continue to keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox as we learn more information and more of these inmates are taken into custody. So we also know that a bit earlier today, we did hear from the Attorney General as well, that Attorney General talking about the man that they say was a New Orleans jail maintenance worker who was arrested, now being held on a $1.1 million bond after admitting that he turned off the water to a toilet that covered a hole in a cell wall. This allowed those 10 men to squeeze through the gap of one of the largest jailbreaks there in recent U.S. history. Putting this up on your screen, that's the face of the person that has now been arrested. We do want to continue on with this. Of course, we do know that those inmates there during that escaped by yanking open a faulty cell door, moving the toilet, and then were able to exit through that hole. Graffiti on the wall included the message "Too easy" with an arrow and an LOL pointing to that gap. Putting that up on your screen as well. We'll get back to that tweet there from the Attorney General. But that's the image that has been going viral ever since. That's the hole where those inmates were able to escape. Of course, we now know that fifth person has been arrested, 5 more still on the loose. And again, as it pertains to that other arrest of the maintenance worker, we do know that his name is Sterling Williams, and he's now being held on a bond amount at $1.1 million. Attorney General Murrow saying that it's $100,000 for each charge that he is now facing. Saying at the bottom, if you are helping any of these escaped inmates in any way, you too will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Wanted to get that story in for you here on Live Now from Fox. We'll continue to keep you updated. If we have any other updates, any more of those inmates captured, leaving you, though, with this live look there in New Orleans, there in the Big Easy. We'll slide away now for a 2-minute break.
As you see, a lot of drama going on there. A lot of drama. That guy that helped him escape, he's finished. He's going to get himself a 10, 15-year bid. Louisiana's a tough state to do time into. There's only one maximum security prison in Louisiana, and that is called Angola. Many of you may have heard of Angola. It's a very well-known prison, very tough place. It is the only maximum security system in the state, which is very rare. Like New York has about 15 maximum security prison systems. I'm not sure if that's the exact number, but there's a lot of them. There's 50 prisons in New York State. About 15 are maximum security. But Louisiana only has one, and that's Angola. Angola was named after the slave plantation in Angola. And so that's how it's got its name. So 5 of the 10 have been caught. I know they have about a $10,000-$15,000 reward for each prisoner leading to their arrest. Very hard to go on the run. As I brought up briefly in another video, with technology, with surveillance cameras everywhere, not being able to fly on planes without the real ID, not even be able to purchase a Greyhound ticket without ID, not being able to, the train is really the only thing you can use to move without identification. And they will, of course, check the surveillance of all train stations, so you could still be caught on surveillance boarding a train. As I said, Angola is the only prison. Let me show you a picture of Angola there. That's Angola prison. And the average sentence that a prisoner is serving in Angola is 93 years. That's the average sentence. There's 6,500 prisoners in Angola. That's a very, very big prison. To explain how large that is compared to New York State, a large maximum security prison in New York State holds about 22 to 2,500 prisoners. Angola holds 6,500, so that's triple what New York holds. That's a big prison. With the average sentence of 93 years or 95 years. Serious place to do time, and that's I can almost guarantee you that's where these escaped prisoners are going to go, because most of them had murder charges. I believe 8 out of the 10 of them were convicted of murder. And with the escape on their record, they won't send the person with an escape on their record to a minimum or medium security prison. So I'm pretty sure they're going to Angola. No joke. Serious place that they'll probably be spending the rest of their lives. They will first go to solitary confinement. They will be placed in solitary confinement as a punishment for escaping. They will have time added to their sentence. for escaping. They're going to have new charges, new escape charges, and then they will be placed in maximum security. So they have a rough time ahead of them. You know, Angola prison still is one of the only prisons that has a rodeo in it. There's a couple of them, but there's a prison rodeo in Angola prison where they can participate in the rodeo on a volunteer basis. They're pretty good at running, so maybe they want to run from the bulls. I don't know, but they'll have that opportunity when they get there. Running is like I said again, very difficult. So you need to have a serious plan. You need to have money to stay on the run. You need to be a master of disguise to stay on the run. I mean, these days it's no joke. It's nothing that's easy. You know, they were real serious individuals. These weren't guys with small criminal charges. Hence the reason they really wanted to get out of there. They were facing a lot of time. What I was worried about, and what a lot of people were worried about in society, is that these individuals that escaped were going to go after the witnesses that testified against them to put them in prison in the first place. Some of those witnesses were so worried. There was a few stories about them packing up and leaving the city because they were afraid that these escaped prisoners were going to hunt them down. Which is, you could really see that happening. They had so much animosity that people testified against them. Most people, most prisoners are in prison filled with a lot of hate. You know what I mean? That these people put them in prison. So to sum it up, out of the 10, 5 have been caught. I think that within another 48 hours, they'll catch a couple more of them. You have a lot of people involved in this. You have the sheriff's department, you have the FBI, you have the police department, and when you have all these entities really working to apprehend you, it's really only a matter of time. Maybe if one or two of them got out of the state already, they may, and have a really good head start. They could avoid justice for a little while, but yeah, they're in a bad spot. They're in a bad spot, as a mission. But we'll see what happens in New York. Generally, if a prisoner escapes, they say they get about 7 years added to their sentence. If someone escaped in New York, the penalty would be if they charge them, they'd give them about an extra 7 years, and they'd also give them a year or two in solitary confinement. I don't know if they could do that in New York State now because of the HALT Act and everything that took place with the HALT Act. We're trying to suspend solitary confinement, but that would be the penalty in New York. I would think that the penalty in New Orleans and Louisiana is probably a bit harsher. I'm not sure of that. I'm not an expert on the Louisiana system. But that's up to date information on the escape. 10 escaped, 5 arrested, maintenance worker arrested for helping them. $10,000, $15,000 rewards. When they get caught, they'll be going to Angola, and they'll be running with the bulls. You guys have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.